Well, now's that time.
No.
Now's yeah. It's nice to go live. It's nice to catch those little moments, when we don't know exactly if people are watching or not. Yeah, we'll let you guys come on, join in. I got Tristan here with me. I'm not talking to myself, though. That has happened. Yeah, I guess there's always someone to talk to with the amount that we're spied on through Google and our our surveillance, our surveillance that we went out and bought.
It's like a mental health thing for your safety. If you ever feel lonely, just talk to
Yeah, that would have been a good marketing campaign for them, I
someone. We'll give
guess.
you sponsored ads for stuff.
Mm. Okay, so I got like an awesome dandelion tea here, which I'll talk to you about in just a second. But Blum Labs. I'm assuming it's Blum that it's pronounced. I didn't actually talk to the guy on the phone or anything, so I am not 100% sure, but they sent me like a whole bunch of stuff, which I'm going to show you. One of them is this awesome mug. Like we make mugs at Elemental Growth. I go to the reuse stores and I find like really cool, unique ones. I've had other ones shipped, like from Conscious Reminders, for example, who take beautiful artwork from after school and get them on mugs. I'm a big fan of these things because I love my tea time, high tea, right? This one I really like because it's nice and big and it's kind of got like that, what Tristan pointed out, that Tony Stark feel. It feels kind of professional.
Were we live after that?
No, but
I was
I
gonna say
I
we
thought it
don't
was
need a Green Power Ranger over
no, but we did. That's so funny. Yeah, these yeah. So I like the mug. They also sent. I'm not 100% sure what it is. It's like some sort of a sticker. I'm assuming that it's Blum and not Bloom, but there could be an accent on it. Bloom would be Bloom. This is spelled Blum, Blum Labs. I'm pretty sure this is just a sticker, like a rotating sticker. I'm not 100% sure what it's meant for or if there's some cool little trick to it, but it's a nice little gift. We'll figure out a cool spot to put it. And mug I absolutely love. And here's why you guys are watching. Hi T, they did send us microdose tincture that they're doing. So there's about 7 grams in here. So obviously don't overdo it. What they're actually saying is 1 dropper full every 3 days. So they do give you a type of structure to follow when it comes, and you'll see this like just from us working with different companies, which happens a lot. We do have a network where we get to work with tons of professionals in this space, but there's also other ones that come to us just for collaboration, like Blum Labs here. So they sent us a bunch of stuff to try, and every company seems to have their own protocol on how to work with it, right? These are all people that are so passionate about what they do, so passionate about the medicine that they have a way of doing it that's really worked for them. What's important to remember, you guys, is that it's just like nutrition. One person's diet plan, like this is why there's so many diet books, right? So many diet protocols, is because one thing is not going to work for everybody. And one thing won't even work for you your entire life because you're ever changing and you'll need to change your diet just like you may need to change your protocols and your medicine and different things like that. I've been working with psilocybin mushrooms for 18 years, but there was off periods in that time where I'd work with different medicine or I just took a really long break for integration. The more I guess, what would that word be, Tristan? Like the more expansive the trip, the more intense your experience, the longer time you really should take for the integration space. There's a wonderful meme that I've put out a few times that you guys always eat up, and that's where the man is leaving the tunnel, his cave, right, where all those spears are, and behind him is this shadow. And the guy who's walking out is saying, "Oh, I should go sit with some more medicine." And the shadow crawling up behind him out of the cave is saying, "Bro, just integrate me." So I'll get that one out to you guys again because I love it. It's a great reminder. Um, but yeah, when it comes to microdosing and things like that, you will find what's working for you. I always find that it's best to go with intuition. That being said, whenever I work with a new medicine, I follow what they say. So I'm going to try this protocol with this medicine for a little while, just with me, and and then probably we'll figure out how it works best with us individually afterwards, because that's another thing too, right? We're perfect examples, you and I, because me, I've been working with these medicines for so long. I've never had built up any tolerance around these. I went from doing like massive heroic doses, getting sober back in um, 2014, we'll even say, and I was working with the medicine even before that in large doses. And a microdose will hit me at 50 milligrams. For you, you can take almost a full gram and barely feel the effects. So
What we calculated at one time, it was somewhere like
700
700.
milligrams,
And
yeah.
I was walking around like a basic, maybe a microdose, starting to feel it, but at the same time, never turning it off.
Yeah, and we've done collaborations with Mason too, who had really high tolerance in this practice. Like we run into people a lot. Even another I guess member of our group now, like a newer member, she was even saying, "Oh, I've never really had any effects from mushrooms." And then, she did at the very high doses, but it took a while. So different people have different, amounts that they can take. For me, I can tap right into the shamanic state of mind on really low doses. And it might have something to do with the fact that I used to take really high ones too, and I still do, maybe once a year, but definitely not every week. Sometimes multiple days in a row, how I did when I was younger. When I was first getting into this stuff. So, yeah, let's try this. We'll do it by their protocol. Another thing I'll say is like more tinctures are coming out. Tinctures are not necessarily I find that they're great because they're fast, effective, easy to carry around with you. They're great for storing, all that kind of stuff, because they'll store for a long period of time. So we'll just dried mushrooms, but they can lose potency over time as well, especially if it's in the powder form. So capsules, for example, they'll lose potency before an actual whole mushroom that's been dried will. With these tinctures, it'll hold the potency for an even longer time. It's a great way to do it. This being said, I'm a recovering alcoholic, so working with alcohols uh, are not necessarily my go-to. It's not something that I normally choose to do. Normally, when I'm making tinctures as a herbalist in my own practice, I'm using apple cider vinegar. Other herbalists I've spoken to use glycerin. Alcohol and honey is a tincture that I've used before as well, and that was actually probably my favorite one. This one is using alcohol and water. I think the alcohol and honey was probably the best tasting of any of the tinctures that we've done so far. In my own personal life, you guys know honey is my favorite way. Using blue honey, doing a honey infusion is my favorite way to preserve the mushrooms. And that's what I do in my own life with you can do that with other medicines too, like ginger, like turmeric, like garlic. These are honey is an amazing, amazing medicine, especially if you can work with a local farmer. So you're working with honeys in your area. That's going to help you with your allergies. That's going to help you connect with your community. That's going to help you connect, like so many people are craving right now, is that connection. This will help connect you to mom and nature and to your own community, and to help you communicate better too. Mushrooms very much like that, right? They're deep roots. They're the mycelium, brings everything together so that the entire forest can communicate. So when you're working with mushrooms and honey together, very, very powerful stuff, you guys.
How often should we heat our honey?
How often should we heat our honey? So we don't heat our honey. We like you don't want to do that. Actually, I had an Indian man call me up one day after watching me do one of my tea videos, and it was on a healing tea with what was it, like a homemade chai, I think. And he's like, Ashley, you changed the compound structure of honey. So if you look at honey or coconut oil, if it's raw and unrefined, and it has this kind of geometric pattern in it. It's very, very beautiful. And once it's heated, that is destroyed, right? So as soon as you refine coconut oil and it doesn't have the same medicinal properties anymore, it also doesn't have the same energy as it once did, which means it's going to change yours. Honey is very much the same in that, where it changes its structure. And so this Indian man from India, he messaged me and he said, look, we don't heat it at all where we are. For myself, I did know that not to have it pasteurized. But one thing that I do in my own practice is that I'll put, on our floor heaters, I'll heat the honey that way so it infuses better. And I do that with other tinctures and different oils and things that I create as well as doing the sun and moonlight, because then you're getting those magical powers infused as well, which it is pretty miraculous, I think, when you're working with the sun and moon energies with any kind of wild crafting, we'll say. It does just give it that little extra intention.
It's fun.
And it's
It
fun.
gives you that ritualistic feeling.
The ritualistic, yeah, that's a good point. All right, so you want to do this? So this is 1 ml.
And you're supposed to spread that dropper for 3 days.
No, it says
Or is it?
take 1 dropper every 3 days.
Okay.
Oh, they actually said mix it with a liquid. So, do you want to mix it with liquid or you want to just take it like this?
I'll just take it like this. I'm a baby birdie.
Yeah, let me review it. There you go. How's it taste? Does it taste like the other tinctures we did?
Taste alcohol.
You taste the
You
alcohol.
don't taste the mushrooms, taste alcohol.
Should I do the full one or just go small? Because I feel like 50 would be good. I keep getting 50, so I'm just gonna go with 50. Try small, right? Like, there's no shame in that, you guys. Trying small and working your way up. I know that I'm a lightweight when it comes to this stuff. So, I'm gonna start at 50. In about 3 days, I'll go for the full one.
The other thing that you were saying about taking time off to integrate anything in trips is that when you're on a big trip, usually once the revelations start coming in, you get big revelations like every 10, 20 minutes. And that continues for hours. Each one takes its own amount of time and analysis to sit with and go through. Sometimes for me, I've even had like a checklist of things to kind of go do and come off. And some things are actually kind of left to be continued. Like I'm aware and conscious of the issue, but it's like not on this trip.
Yeah.
Next trip.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like a preparation for what's to come. And then the integration part, of course, is like once you've worked with the medicine, it shows you what work is yours to do, but then it's your job to actually do that work. And if you're not doing that work and you're trying to skip it to go back to the medicine so that you can, feel more, feel that same feeling again, it doesn't exactly work that way. You're not going to get what you want, especially if you're not listening to the medicine. It's all about building a relationship with the medicine, with this plant spirit, fungi spirit, animal spirit, however you're choosing to work with the medicine, or a meditation practice, or a yoga practice. I actually thought I could taste the mushrooms, but it actually kind of tasted like chocolate aftertaste too. I don't know why, like a really dark.
Probably because you're so chocolate stuck in your mouth for the last time.
Maybe I just really like chocolate. So that was going to be our meditation today. It was the new moon meditation that I was going to walk you guys through. And that is because I started my moon cycle, and the new moon is actually on Wednesday as well. So I lit a black candle today, and I wanted to share some stuff about the new moon and that as well. And we can talk about the chalk. Yummy. delicious chocolate. Like you guys know, we like cacao ceremonies.
cacao rituals,
Yeah,
and you're just I don't do that for big doses, but like in medium doses, the chocolate, the cacao, plus you kind of get like that nutty thing too.
yeah,
And I feel that I've had call-outs for as not how can I put this? Like one trip that I had was there was a call for any psychedelics that I had. I had which was coffee and chocolate, but I really, really got into the magic trick or something in it form that I wanted to have. Like after I consumed and mixed the psychedelics with the caffeine and the chocolate as well with lots of honey caffeine. I don't specifically off the top of my head remember what the message was, but I remember the ceremony being just a really relaxing, really pleasurable, enjoyable evening.
2 doses of caffeine and you found relaxation in
Yeah,
it. We really are the yin yang.
I'm not supposed to make sense. That's your job. That's what people pay you for.
Oh, you're wonderful though. That's funny. I can come in. I don't know. There's not really much of a seat there, but there's a little bit one if you want to hang out with us.
Come be part.
Yeah, come be a part. Here, I don't know if I've showed you guys this yet, but I made a box for the car. I've been doing a lot of artwork. So that's wood. Yeah, that's all wood burning. You should see this. It turned out quite beautiful, and there's more. I did a wolf on it and some Reiki symbols and earth symbols, all for the intention of magic along our travels. Keep us safe, protected, happy, healthy.
Works so far.
Yeah, it conceals all of our food, money, everything in there. It keeps it all nice and safe. And
Maybe my notes that you connect that your money is safely hidden in this thing.
no,
I hope it looks like and where to find it.
yeah. Oh man,
I'm just double checking on my intentions here. Okay.
well, that wasn't my intention. My intention was just to say, like, it's nice to have that sacred place for anything, and to bless what it is that you have, right? Like, take what you have and make it your own. So much stuff today is like, go to the store, buy it. And why? Why are you going to the store and buying all of these things for the Jones effect? Like, there's no point in that. What about, loving what you have wholeheartedly? Like, I love that box because I put my love and intention into that, and I put um, all those symbols on with a lot of intention. This is where our food is. This is where our dishes are when we travel. This is like our organization. Our
You enchanted it.
Yeah, that's
You
like
guys used it with
enchanted.
high vibrational energy, with like a lucky sock or a lucky daisy, or if you get into the stuff that I get into, when you're enchanting crystals or like those gratitude rocks and whatnot, it's kind of like making Reiki water or holy water than any other.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another one too. I actually saw on Etsy recently that they sell moon water on there for like $15 a vial. Like, how much is holy water for a little vial?
I don't remember, but I remember I have these tiny little vials, and I usually switch it something that had holy ash, oil, and water. And I think I paid like almost $20 for
Yeah,
both those liquids.
$20 of holy water for like that big. And then moon water, $15 for a jar too. It's like, you guys can do this stuff at home. I encourage you guys, do this yourself. You can pray on your water. When I was pregnant for Finn, we had hooked up a water cooler, and I would decorate them with like different affirmations and charms and symbols and things like that, so that every time I was drinking water, I was like charming it. I would put crystals into my water. You want to keep the crystals nice and washed. You don't want to use dirty ones that everybody's hands have been all over. But yeah, if you're working with these consistently, you have certain water crystals that you're putting in. I haven't done that recently, but we did have the kids decorate their own water glasses with permanent markers, which does come off, so you don't have to worry if it doesn't look the way you want it to, or if you don't want to ruin them. But it's a nice activity to do with the kids. And they, yeah, use permanent markers, draw their designs, enchant it with their own affirmations and things like that too. And they have a lot of fun with that, and it does come clean. The only way it works is if you have a only way it lasts, I mean, is if you have an oil based type of permanent marker, which you can buy, and then you bake it on, and then it stays. But again, it's only sometimes. Sometimes it does flake off depending on how you wash it, how often you wash it. I think that's, yeah, it's definitely something you guys can do at home. You don't have to go out and spend that money, but it's a really cool practice, and it's cool things to have. It really shows your appreciation for water. It shows your appreciation for how it is that you're storing your food. It shows, yeah, I think it enchants the rest of your life, right? Because then you're consuming that and you're becoming those charms yourself.
It's got that ritual intention too. Like when you bathe into a candle, your intentions or your wishes. You write it on the glass of water as well. I've also seen experiences where shamans will give you a glass of water or a cup of water, and you will pray over it with everything that you want and everything that you don't want. And then you wash yourself with some of it, and then you soak the rest for the
Yeah,
interesting type of ritual. But water has meaning.
yeah.
It's not just a drinking thing, it's supposed to be the actual, the molecular structure of the water, not just the frequency that you're putting into it.
Yeah, there's a doctor and scientist that actually studied that the molecules in water and would prey on some of the water and freeze it, and the molecular structure similar to that of the honey, right? As long as the honey is unpasteurized, unrefined, it's going to have this molecular structure. The water does that too, and you can tell a lot better with the water when it's frozen. And so he would freeze this blessed water, and these beautiful patterns would appear, and then he would play heavy metal or say I hate you, and things like that to the water, and it would freeze in these other shapes. Again, this is the same as like in our bodies. This is a fractal of what's happening with the animal farming that's happening now. Where we end up being what we consume, right? So if an animal, for instance, is stressed out and filled with antibiotics and um, like and anything like that, like just really tense, that's what you're getting in your meat, and that's what you're getting inside of you and your cells as soon as you consume that meat. This is why, we're not vegan. We don't eat any of the Bill Gates meat or like vegan meats or anything like that, or like meat like products. We don't like food like products at all. Like, we're going for whole foods. A lot of what we eat is vegan, but we do really love honey, and we get all of our eggs from the farms. Like this year, I think I'm really excited to get little chickens. I don't know if it'll happen this year, but that would be really cool if it did. If not, I know one of the uh, permaculture homesteads uh, that we work on, or that I work on each year, they're gonna have chickens and pigs again. So that'll be cool. Regardless, I get to play with them. But so yeah, it's so important, I think, to be conscious of these things. Is like, where is all your stuff coming from? It's okay if you want to like buy stuff from a grocery store, but still have that intention. Like, no, this is gonna feed me. This is gonna nourish my family. Give that love to it whenever I'm cooking. I'm using my Reiki powers in whatever it is that I'm doing. Sourdough is another cool one, right? Like, we name our sourdough, our mother culture, and feed it every day. Very
Ferment's kind of
intentional.
like gardening and planting. It really does make a difference. There was a period of time where things were, yeah, it was really stressful, and all things started to die. I didn't even tell you, but I was able to salvage it. But it really does make a difference to immediately know handling them and dealing with them with like plants. Some kids did an experiment one time. They were growing seeds. Like, they were going to go, one thing I love you, one thing I hate you, and they did the writing, yeah, underneath the darn of the pot, and one didn't grow.
I know this is a bit off subject, but I keep seeing this meme go out lately of this guy who did something similar, like a different kind of experiment, and it's uh plant sprouts, like a whole sprout kit growing with no Wi-Fi on, and then another sprout kit where there is Wi-Fi, and the one with no Wi-Fi grows really really fast, and the one without Wi-Fi grows like just a little bit and is like kind of dying off, and they're not all coming up. I've seen that in sprouting in different areas of the house and things like that too, but I never put it as to it how close it was to Wi-Fi or anything. But it's, yeah, energy is everything. Frequency is everything. And we have a choice on what frequency we want to be on. You know, it does take a little bit of extra time and a little bit of extra work, but you also, as your mindset changes and you become and you start living more intentionally, it's like you get faster at other things anyway. So then it actually doesn't take more time to set intention. In fact, it takes less time to do the entire task overall because you're doing it with more intention.
One thing that plays a factor in doing things with intention is the speed. What if, like, there's an example that when you're driving in traffic and stuff like that, and you're going really slow, that's when a lot of anything is happening because people are just starting to cross and you bump into something. You pay the most attention when you're going about 140, 150 down the freeway. You know, you got a death grip on that steering wheel and you're really observing to everything going on around you, and your intention is much more focused with the speed that you're getting to into.
He's a cool guy, Jim Quick. Well, I don't know him personally or anything, but
He seems fun.
yeah, when he shares, like, I like his meme feed. Same with like David Avocado Wolf. It's like some guys just got the memes.
Exactly. We don't follow unfun people. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. His X Men story made me cry too. The real life X Men. All right, so yeah, Dandelion. I had written down speaking on focus and intention.
Uh,
Dandelion, the tea we're having today, which I mean, you can actually go out into your like backyard and get dandelion if you want to. We can't right now in winter, so we're using a tea bag. But if you are pulling up dandelions, what you do is you wash the roots, you roast them, and then you grind them up in a mortar and pestle or a blender, and it turns into a powder. And that powder can be used as a coffee substitute because it's really energizing. And one of the best reasons why it's energizing is because it's yellow. That's our solar plexus, right? So this is actually helping cleanse your liver, which is always overtaxed because of the environmental toxins. Chances are the food like products that you're consuming, and just any anger, like the liver is associated with anger too, right? So if you're holding on to anger and your body doesn't know what to do with it, it's going to store in that liver, and the dandelion will help flush all of that out so you get more willpower, more energy. Dandelion is pretty amazing, and it's probably my favorite flower. I know some people just like rip it out. Whenever I see people just ripping it out of their lawns, I'm always like, dude, like that would help your gut right now. That would help your alcoholism right now. That's going to help your mom that like can't move, or like, you know, there's always someone in the house of where they're ripping out dandelions that needs that medicine and they have no awareness. Instead, they're like taking big pharma or just drinking away their problems. And it's like the medicine is like literally growing there for you, and there's no appreciation, no reverence for it. Dandelions, to me, and my own personal view, is that they're a sign of the revolution. Okay, they will break through concrete just to live and survive and spread. They're there to regenerate the soils. They are here to like, if you think about lawns as just being like there's no diversity, right? Lawn is just grass. And it's a specific type of European grass at that, you know, it's not a diversified grass with a bunch of different types of grasses in it. It's not the beautiful clover that's there for hormone health. It's not the weedy lawns. This is like, you know, this is one way of being, and this is that perfect golf course lawn. Okay, a dandelion will pop up in that line, in that lawn. It's gonna pop up in between like cement cracks. It's there to just regenerate the soil because it knows that the city is not healthy. That dandelion spirit knows that that golf course filled with a bunch of pesticides and whatever else they use to make the grass like that is not helping the soil. So this dandelion to me is the revolution coming in and healthifying the people, healthifying the soils, which is a total reflection of our own gut microbiome. It's beautiful. I love dandelions. They're likely my favorite flower, though I love many. Also, another thing is that they're seen by kids as wishes. For adults, like we look at dandelions, we're like, oh, that's a weed. Well, not me personally, but a lot of people are like, oh, that's weeds. Like, let's get it out. And then kids are always like, look at that field full of wishes. It's like, it's so magical. It's so beautiful. And then it gets tainted by like some cultural belief system that sucks and is so about suppressing freedoms and liberties.
Dandelions even look like little suns too.
They
You're talking
did.
about the fire chakra,
The solar
which is
plexus.
also the sun chakra as well.
Yeah, yeah, the solar plexus. Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's so true. Right, so do you want to do a new moon meditation? That's suit. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hands in prayer pose. So, what we need to remember, I think, most about the new moon is that you're not going to see an actual moon in the sky. It's going to be a black sky. It's going to be a blank canvas for you to create whatever it is that you want. The reason why most women get their moon cycle around the new moon is, and this usually means that you're in natural rhythm as a woman. There literally used to be tents for women to go in to brainstorm and create art and things like that that would represent for the tribe's men, the tribe people, what was to come over the following month, over the following moon cycle, what to expect, what you're going to harvest come the full moon, what you're going to need to release. The women would do all this planning together in a tent while on their moon cycle, their menstruation cycle. And men can tap into this rhythm too. They often do, especially if they're in a relationship. Their emotions and their hormones will sync with women, the women that they're with or in love with. It affects in a different way, in my book, Be the Change, as well as the Women Code by, I can't remember the girl's name. I want to say Alyssa, but I can't remember her last name, but it's called the Woman Code. And it's both referenced in Be the Change as well as in her book, how to eat with the moon cycle so that you can really help sink in. There's also called a red moon cycle for women, which would mean that you're getting your period on the full moon, which should be the opposite cycle, but there's still a lot of spiritual meaning behind that too. I mean, like, go check out Google University and you'll get some answers, YouTube University, if you want to go down that rabbit hole. But for men and women, I think it's really important to realize that the sky is out there tonight. It's the dark side of the moon. Right out of Pink Floyd. This is the time for you to manifest and create whatever it is that you want. If you want to do a dream board, if you want to do some future journaling, so you're journaling to your future self or you're journaling as your future self, just, gratitude journal as your future self, saying, I'm so happy and grateful that, I'm got $1 million a month coming in, or that I, have full custody of my child, or that, I'm growing food for my entire community, or I am helping 100 people, every week with my business, my high impact business. Whatever it is that you want, now's the time to start doing that. So you can do it through future journaling, through through dream boards, through art, or, tap into some of the meditations I've done in the past that are available on YouTube here on Odyssey Library. We're going to do a little one now, I think.
Alyssa
Alyssa
Vitti.
Vitti. was talking
or
about
Vivi?
Viti. So she was an alumni of the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I loved her book. It's like, I think it's a must read for all women, as well as Witch by Lisa Lister. Every woman needs to read those two books. So I'll link them in here, but it's a good one. It's a good one. And if you're a man that really loves a woman and wants to understand women more, those are two books to also read. Yeah. Thank you. You're so good at that, though. You're like probably the most thoughtful man when it comes to these things. Like you really, yeah, you get it. You really do take the time. It's a beautiful thing.
I appreciate that. I forget everything else, but I appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to mention with men have a monthly cycle with their hormones as well that also has a spike, which would be or has been joked as at menstruating
Yeah.
when there's just a certain cycle in the month where your emotions are high, and then you'll have really lows where you're really, if you're like me, you're just completely detached. But both genders and people in general, everyone has this going on inside them.
Yeah, and part of it is because of sleep, right? Sleep and the sun, we know that sleep and sun have to do with the circadian rhythm, and the circadian rhythm is really what affects our hormones and our hormone health. I know I studied hormone health holistically through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, got awesome marks in the class. Okay, I love it. I totally get it. But here's something that they weren't talking about is how the moon also affects that, right? And it does because this we're like I get people who are like, "Oh, I get insomnia and things like that." I'm like, "Okay, how often do you get insomnia?" "Oh, about 3 days every month." "Oh, you mean like when it's a full moon and you get extra energy as a gift given to you as a right to use?" And this is also what influences our hormones, right? Is if we're not sleeping properly, if we're not expecting these kinds of things, if we're not attuned to mama nature, then our hormones easily go out of whack. But if you know what to expect and you're moving and growing with each moon cycle as it comes, every 28-day cycle, you're tapping more into that. You know what to expect. You can make the most out of every single day and every single month. And elemental growth. Grow elementally. It's yeah, one of those things really worth it. Okay, let's finally meditate. You ready?
I'll fall asleep one
Uh,
and meditate.
how many times did you do that when you first started meditating though? And you just nod off and go to sleep? Like,
I've learned to be serious that I can't meditate laying down, and I can't meditate early morning, even if I'm sitting up,
you'll
because
fall asleep.
you nod off. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not everybody, but you specifically.
For me, that's my experience. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, if I try to just meditate on my own, I'll likely go into a nap or into a sleep, especially if I do it before bed. But if I'm doing yoga and I get to it through yoga and breath work, get to the meditative state, I it's like psychedelic. It's like a psychedelic experience.
There's
Even with a
different levels of meditation. There's meditation to relax, calm down. There's meditations to think and contemplate.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I need the nap. If that's where it brings me and I didn't feel like doing yoga, I just wanted to lay down and meditate, it's probably for a reason. And I just allow myself. I don't beat myself up after or anything and be like, oh man, I wanted to meditate. Why? Why, brain? Instead, I'm like, thank you. That was a beautiful nap. Not what I expected, but nice.
The other important aspect to it is if you find that you're meditating and you nod it off, you click out, and then you kind of come to and you're really alert and like, whoa, what just happened? That is being in a meditative state. If you wake up and you're groggy and you're really aware that you've fallen asleep, then you're actually asleep, and the two are different. Being in a meditative trance, like they have had people for the Guinness Book of World Records do meditation during surgery without any anesthetics. So you can. I've dealt with some of my migraines in the past that form of meditation as well. So there is a difference between if you come to when you're really awake, versus actually being asleep.
I know somebody who actually did that. Josh Perry from Gray Matters podcast. I did a podcast collaboration with him actually, him and Mitch, and wonderful guys. We had a really good time. Right after our podcast, so Josh tells me that he went for like open brain surgery while awake. He had brain cancer, and he had this great surgeon that did it while he was awake, and now teaches and coaches around fear. Like no wonder between he was a BMX rider, which that was all fear. That's like all conquering fears and being really brave to like do the crazy stuff that you do there, and then being a brain cancer survivor, and then open brain awake surgery. That like he's the guy to learn from, I think, when it comes to overcoming fears and really intense stuff. Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up. Really cool guy too, you guys. Check him out. Gray Matters podcast. Josh Perry and Mitch. I can't remember Josh's wife, but she does they might be married now, or wife or fiance, but still they're married somehow. Yeah. If they're not married yet, they're getting married. And I can't remember her name, but she does a lot of podcasts too. I'd like to meet her one day. I'm sure it'll happen. All right, do this. Rub our hands together, stimulate that good vibes, those energies. We're gonna, well, I think the biggest part we'll do is first we'll do like a release, like how the full moon does, and then we'll bring in what it is that we want. Ask for the, yeah, well, it could be a money meditation, it could be a moon meditation, a medicine meditation, yeah. I'm just going with all the M words. Motivational meditation. What other M words have you got?
Okay.
Mocha.
First thing that came to mind.
Mocha. The mocha meditation. Chocolate. Back to the chocolate. Just. All right. So with every breath in, I want you guys to feel that medicine, your breath, your life force energy penetrate each cell of your body. I want you to feel it attached to, and with every exhale, release anything that doesn't need to be there. This could be any thought that arises, this could be any feeling that's been lingering. This could be anything that you identify with, any like pictures that come to mind as your eyes are closed. I really want you to focus in on that third eye. If you can, visualize it like a TV screen, like a movie set or like a projector screen right there, like shooting out of your third eye so you can see pictures. And as you're feeling feelings, I want your breath to exhale it out. As you are seeing visualizations, I want you to exhale it out. As any thoughts enter, just exhale them out. It's okay for them to come up. There's no editing here. You don't have to like reject anything. You don't have to edit anything. Just breathe it out, okay? So we'll do a few breaths this way. Inhale to every cell. Exhale, whatever comes up. Inhale to every cell. Exhale, whatever comes up. Now, as you come into your heart space, you'll feel with your lungs being more open and accepting the oxygen, that you feel a little bit more open. Maybe your shoulders roll back, relax a little bit more. Perhaps the tension just dissolves right now. Very present, very allowing, very open. I want you to ask forward, the jobs that are yours to do. What work actually needs to be done? What purpose do you have for this month? This doesn't have to be your whole life. But what action steps can you take this month to get to that vision, that goal? With everything happening in the world today, having that vision, that focus is so important. To do the work that's yours to do, to create that ripple effect of health and happiness, to be living from a place of passion and purpose. That's what's important now. That's where the focus needs to be. That's where our heart is going to bring us. Use your heart to connect to that third eye, that beautiful third eye that's wide open. When we close these two eyes, the third one opens right up. Sometimes with light, sometimes with a screen, sometimes with an imagination. Allow yourself to paint whatever picture. Allow yourself to bring forward whatever resources you need to succeed. We'll take a moment of silence here. Just be with yourself. Breathe normal. When you're ready, just shake it all out. Shake your body out. Allow yourself to be back in reality. I like that. The roll of the neck. Oh, it feels so good. Right. Thank you for sharing that moment with me, and thank you for showing up to do this work. It's so important. It's so important to check in with yourself in these ways. It's so important to do this for yourself, because it's by doing this work, by taking these moments for yourself, by showing up as you do, that you really are creating a ripple effect. And over time, that ripple, it turns into a wave. That's what you're here for, right? That impact, the impact in your own life, that breakthrough. And for many of you, it's even going above and beyond that and helping others break through, helping others create an impact of their own. So I want to say thank you. Um, Now, what time have we got here? Tristan, we got about 10 minutes, right? Okay, so how do you want to end this thing? Do you think it would be, sorry, I wrote down notes of things to go into. We could just chit chat for another 10 minutes. We could go into something on this list, or we could talk about what we read in this week in the Encyclopedia of Psychoactive Plants. What do you think?
Well, now, I definitely think we should explore a little bit about what we've read. I also wanted to, since you're giving me the opportunity, take a moment to mention that it was brought to my attention and something that I've mentioned before that I'll be doing with my Live at 5 today is how to navigate a bad trip. So I wanted to take this moment to ask you if you had any thoughts or tips on if you're having a trip and you're noticing that it's starting to go bad. Maybe you're not feeling the greatest, you're getting overwhelmed with emotions, maybe you're starting to see things that visually are unpleasant.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? This does come up a lot. The bad trip. This is a great question, Tristan, and I get it a lot too. So, and for me, I feel like a lot of my trips in my life, they start off bad, and then I make a decision along the way to turn it into heaven. And I do that in my own life in a fractal regardless. But here's the thing, right? you're working with these medicines at all, there's, what risk there is. There is a risk of a bad trip. No trip is bad though, right? There is no good or bad. It's all neutral. It's all a decision. It's all a mindset. 99% of problems are mindset problems. So if you're having a problem in your trip, you need to remember to take responsibility. This is a mindset problem. It's not why is this happening to me or why me? This is, you know, more so what's happening for me. How is this unfolding for my benefit? How is this happening for me? What's the good in this? And if you can start asking these questions, you're breaking up that intensity, that those feelings. You know, and it can be hard when you're having visualizations, maybe of somebody's death, maybe having visualizations of your own death, maybe feeling like you're dying. You know, I've had experiences personally where I would be around people who had had seizures before, and then I go into a trip and I would be the one experiencing a seizure, um, and it's not pleasant. You know, I had two people in my family have a heart attack, and then I went and I worked with Campbell medicine, and I experienced both the heart attack of both of those men in one hour sitting. It was painful, you know. So sometimes it's a visualization, sometimes it's a feeling, you know, sometimes it's an experience, a trauma that resurfaces, you know. I've experienced that too, where it's like, you know, reliving a childhood sexual abuse, and it's like repressed memories and things like that are coming up, and you're questioning, you know, what's real, what's not real, like why is this, almost going back to that time. It's like, why is this happening to me? It's like more of, why is this happening for me? Why was this, what, like, why was this the lesson, and what's the lesson in this, and where's the love in this? And, you know, I always, for me personally, the way that I always got out of it was often through laughter, by realizing that, like, this is not where I am. Like, don't identify with those crises. Don't identify with those thoughts. You have to remember that you're the observer of these things, that um, you're just one of the entities in that vessel. And when you can take power of that, you can let go of all those other demons. You know, demons are real and they are with us, you know, especially for a recovering alcoholic like myself. I had, in my sobriety journey in these last 7, 8 years, I got sober in 2014. So from, I think that's almost 8 years from today.
14 to the 26, actually, somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So in 8 years of sobriety, like, the amount of demons that I faced, I didn't face those demons as an alcoholic. I wasn't strong enough, but I did face them sober, you working with these medicines. And it feels really good to purge them out, to not identify with it, to realize that, like, um, this was a situation, this is not a person, and I'm not that person. You know, I'm the person who's learned from this. I see the lessons. I'm experiencing the love. Sometimes you can laugh, and laughing is the best medicine out of any medicine. Laughter is the best medicine. And it's free, and it's inside of every single one of us, and it's a choice. It's a choice to laugh, and laughter will break up the intensity, one, for a few reasons. One of them is because it relaxes the nervous system. It shakes things up a little bit, right? And it releases. Otherwise, what's happening is you're holding it all in, right? But if you can choose to laugh, if you can shake, another thing I do often is yoga. I'll use my breath, kind of like how we did in this meditation. I'll use my breath, inhale, let it penetrate every single cell, and I exhale what's no longer there. With Campbell being a powerful purgative medicine, it's like that. I almost see it as like this frog shaman pulling everything out of my cells and purging it out of me, often out of both ends. But oh, there. Thank you.
Trying to sneak it, but like you consider
I love it. Yeah, frog. The frog is my ally. The frog and the mushroom. They've been my allies for many years. Cannabis too, lotus too. I think there's many medicines, but
I'm excited to
frog
get
and
back into
mushroom.
Lotus after you told me about the dosages of it.
Yeah, yeah, lotus is a cool. I'll let me go. I didn't
I
see
saw
it,
nothing.
but when I look back at this video, oh my gosh. All right, guys. So, like, those are just some examples. So, bad trips, there's always that risk, right? Always remember, you're the observer. Remember, 99% of problems are mindset problems. Remember, laughter is the best medicine. Remember that that it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And last thing to remember is move your body. So that means move your breath. That means jiggle your belly when you're laughing. That means get up and shake. That means get up and dance. That means do some yoga or something that's going to release the energy out of you. So those are my 5 things. I'm actually going to write them down here so I can get them in the list there. You're the observer, happening for you. Mindset 99% of problems are mindset. So it's a nice reminder to like that you have a decision to change your mindset at any different time. And if you realize I'm the observer, then that's already changing your mindset because then you won't be identifying with any of that stuff. You can actually get it out. Then move your body, and last one was laughter is the best medicine. All right, so I'll write those down for you guys so you have them. I'll likely get them out on social media as well as in the caption of this because it's a really important one. Bad trips. Bad trips. Have you ever had a really bad trip?
Have I ever had a really bad trip? No.
Lucky.
No.
This is why you came to me to answer this.
Well, in saying no, I played with it. I have had trips several times. You were talking about when you experienced it up with somebody else, and numerous occasions I've had experiences where you were again mummified corpse beside me. And then the important thing that I've always found, because I grew up researching this before, far before I ever got into it, and hearing more the other side of it, why you shouldn't, and people's experiences of people. And I've been present when people get high and they run out of the room screaming because everybody's face melted off and they didn't know how to handle it. And the important thing is understanding that what you're seeing isn't real.
Yeah.
And so I actually did like a time lapse during one of my trips where I saw you as a mummified corpse, and I would rewind back and forth and see you age, see you as an old woman, see you as a younger
You
version
got to
of
manipulate the
yourself.
reality. You got to
Because
take control and responsibility.
I knew that I was in control of what I was seeing, and it was
Yeah.
just representing certain elements of what I was feeling at that point. And then this part of the trip, you turned into a tree and you started blooming and blossoming, and you
I was an oak
embodied the
tree.
spirit of Mother Nature.
I was an oak tree that represented Mother Nature in one of his psychedelic trips. How beautiful is that? Man, like, I didn't love you before. That definitely opened my heart. I was like, oh my God, like, yeah,
It's important to know that
what a
what you're
powerful
seeing
tree.
isn't
I don't think I,
real. It's based
yeah.
off what you feel, and some people would see that and they get really caught up in like, oh my God, this person is dead, and they really feel it. But you have to remember that you're in control of this. The psychedelics are a different level of awareness when you're, I don't even want to say under the influence, because you're being influenced with it. You influence the trip as much as it influences
Yeah, you're working
you.
together with the medicine.
You never forget, at least I've never forgotten where I am or if certain actions are dangerous. I remember my very first larger trip around 2 or 3 grams, and I felt really good. It was the first time experiencing it. And I was on my stairs, kind of hanging off the banister, just feeling weightless and experiencing this joy and confidence of I'm never gonna fall. I felt fearless. And I'm like, I should really take this up onto the roof of my house. And it was the psychedelics and what they express in the say it again, the Encyclopedia of Psychoactive Plants, is that there's divas, there's spirits inside the plants that talk to you. Yeah. And the plants told me, no, motherfucker, you were stoned as shit, and it is pouring rain outside. You are not going to go do yoga on top of your roof.
This being said, Paul Stamets did do that. 20 grams of mushrooms, climbed a tree in the middle of a thunderstorm. And then he never stuttered again. I think I would have done.
Safe to do it. You are yeah. Aware. It's not like being drunk or anything where you really forget what's going on around you.
Yeah, no, I've never. Yeah, I was always able to take back quite a few things. I know Terence McKenna and a lot of those guys, they said like that it's hard to take information back from that time. But I think Terence McKenna had a gift and he took a lot back from it. Same with the way he expressed it through his words. The way that Allison and Alex Gray express it through their art, what they're taking back. Many psychonauts, like the psychedelic scientist, again, did a podcast with him and Cyborg Gang. And there they were talking about like journaling all the time so that you can take everything back. And for me, I think integration work is where the journaling is done. During the trip, it's not a responsibility, I think, to take everything back. It's more to experience. And yeah, like journaling during the trip. I think after it, during the integration part is when the journaling I find is more helpful. And then you can analyze things and change things um, and understand, right? Writing is where you understand. Yogi Bhajan said that too. If you want to learn something, you read about it. Well, in this case, if you want to learn something, you're experiencing it. If you want to understand something, you write about it. If you want to understand something, you journal about it. In this case, and if you want to master something, you teach it. And if you want to master it all in this case, then you're working with those mentors. You're getting books like this to study. You're working in the coaching space or guiding others. For some it's making the medicines, for others it's guiding people on experiences, and for myself it just happens to be that integration space where I really love to be.
The integration part, kind of like a dream too. You'll have these experiences and these revelations and you're like, oh, I really gotta write this down. And I have like 20 more on your way to get a pen and paper. And by the time you go to write it down, you've forgotten. And the thing is that some things are meant to just experience and then forget, and some things fall into the integration
because it'll come back when it's important. Our subconscious remembers it all. Yeah, we retain what we need, and the psychedelics show us what work is ours to do, right? So we can do that specific work. If we remembered everything that they taught us in that trip, then we wouldn't have a focus. We'd be all kerfuffled. And I think when people are trying to hold on to and retain everything that they experience, that's why they're like, oh, I need more medicine because I forgot, because I don't feel this overstimulation right now. And people are living in a really addicted culture, so they don't take the time to really do the integration work. I think it's really important to do that journaling, but don't do it during the experience. Do it, as you're coming into the euphoria phase, if you want to, or just realize that all that information is in your unconscious. It's reprogramming you at a cellular level, that this is already happening and you don't have to control it. And to know that there's plenty of time as you're doing the integration work to be journaling and to understand and to take the action steps and to do the work, so that you can, become your highest potential. What do you think, Tristan? We're ready to get off today?
Yeah, we're pretty much at time now.
All right, well, I'll say goodbye. I love you all so much. I'll see you later. We gotta go pick up Finn and do some other stuff. Hey! Yeah, we've got to go pick up and do some other stuff today. But you'll be back on at 5.
Yes.
So catch Tristan, 5 p.m. What are you talking about tonight?
We're getting into the navigating the negative tips, my experiences, and sharing some of the experiences I've heard from other people and where they hit that fork in the road. And the thing is, it's kind of a choice that you choose to embrace what you're feeling.
Some people identify with it, right? Here's the thing with mental health issues is that we want to identify with it because that's what the medical system's always told us. Oh, you're anxious. Go here, take a pill for that, and now you have anxiety for the rest of your life. You're labeled, it's on papers, and guess what? You got a lifetime subscription to Big Pharma too. Congratulations. And it's like, no, no. How about anxiety is just an emotion, just like anger, and that every emotion passes within 90 seconds if we don't identify with it. So don't identify with these natural emotions as they come up. Do you know what anxiety actually means? Anxiety actually means you're growing. And do you know how I know? Because it is the sign that you're getting uncomfortable. And do you know what uncomfortable means? That you're changing. So change equals growth, especially if you're doing this kind of work, change equals growth. And so all the anxiety is just a sign that you're changing, that you're getting uncomfortable. Beautiful. So breathe through that, accept that change is happening, accept that growth is happening, breathe through it, and move on within the 90 seconds. If you identify with it, just like if you identify with a bad trip or a part of a bad trip or a death or a potential death or anything like that, guess what? That's what it's going to keep giving you. But if you're like, oh, this sucks, but I'm the observer and this is happening for me as a visual so that I can learn whatever lesson and so that I can experience the love and the euphoria following. And then move it out of your body through breath or yoga or, some kind of asana or maybe shaking or dancing and or laughter, then you're not no longer attached. Then it's just like anything else. Then it's just like a tear or just like an anger or just like a happiness, which we all have naturally. Again, it's like, it's always in there, just like the other 200 and whatever amount of emotions that we experience in a day. Oftentimes, many at the same time. Guess what? That's natural too. It's just realizing that we're the observer of these things and not attaching. Practice that, the disattachment. It's not to be not attached to, actually, like, what, like, yeah, detached from a lot of things. Like that's crown chakra stuff like you were teaching last week, right? Is like the non-attachment. We really do want to practice that. Like not disassociating from reality. We're practicing disassociating from specific emotions, specific outcomes. Because what's the point? If we can believe that synchronicity is there, that we're going to be in the right place at the right time, if we believe that everything's happening for us, and we believe that we're going to make it through, if we believe that we are the observer, guess what? You are all those things and more. You are the magic that you are consuming when working with these medicines, when working with life force energy, your breath. We're good?
We're good.
Okay, I'm really going to say
I
goodbye
was
this
just
time.
looking up that there's 27 different emotions.
20. There's more than that.
Probably.
Yeah, look up the emotional circle. A different one. Yeah, emotion circle. I mean, look at our game that we have for the kids on the positive intelligence game. How many emotions were in that? And that wasn't even all of them. But they did include anxiety, anxious. And that has over 50 emotions. And that wasn't even all of them. Yeah, like that's more than 50. I think it's like
a lot of little words.
I think it's something I think it's something like 200 and something emotions. But
look, you can get a butt pillow with them.
That's cool. A meditation pillow with the emotion circle.
Can we somehow show that?
Yeah. Absolutely. Save that for me. Yeah, and screenshot it. Send it to me. I'll make some content around that.
The emotion butt pillow. The
emotion meditation butt pillow. All right, you guys. I love you all so much. I'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Oh, this was fun.